the Chinese chicken. You have a drumstick and your brain stops sticking.
Hello everyone, this is China Chicken, and I wanted to do a review of Skeleton Crew. It's a new Star Wars show that just came out on Disney+. It just finished up last night. It had 8 episodes. I thought it was a pretty good show. It wasn't my favorite show. It probably comes after The Mandalorian and Ahsoka, but definitely better than The Acolyte or Andor or any of those other shows. It was definitely focused on kids, like a family-friendly type show. The music in it was incredible. I really loved the main theme that they did for Skeleton Crew. Really good. I would go listen to that if you have time to do that. I wanted to talk about some of the characters. I'm going to start with Jod, who was played by Jude Law. A lot of people know who Jude Law is. He's a very famous actor. He was a pirate character that was, you learn that he was Jedi trained, and his master was killed, which he mentioned towards the end of the last episode. He did have some Force abilities. It was kind of confusing because you weren't sure if he was a Jedi or not throughout the whole show, but he did have some Force abilities that he showed. But it didn't look like he was very trained in lightsaber combat. You can tell he did get a lightsaber towards the end of the show, but you could tell he didn't really know what he was doing with it. So that was kind of interesting. One of the kids in the show, which was the main crew, there was 4 of them. There was Wim, KB, Fern, and Neil. We're going to talk about Wim, who was probably the main character of the show. He's very adventurous. He wants to be a Jedi or a pilot, most likely. You could tell just by what he reads, the comics that he reads, and what he dreams to be. And he has a lot of hope. He did remind me of Luke Skywalker quite a bit in that regard. So he was a great character, and you could tell he was just very fun. And throughout the show, they mentioned assessment, which was on Ad-Adden, which you take this test to tell you what kind of job that you're going to have on Ad-Adden. So he, in the beginning of the show, he never took the assessment, which by the end of the show, you could realize that this show, his adventure that he went on, where he took the ship and went out into the galaxy with his friends, that was his assessment. And he was assessed to be either a Jedi or a pilot for the New Republic, I believe, is what's going to end up happening for him in the future. So I thought that was kind of a cool part of the show, where he just avoided assessment the entire beginning of the show, but then you realized at the end of the show that his adventure that he went on with his friends was his assessment. So I love that part of the show. I'm going to talk about KB, who is a character that's like a cyborg. She was injured when she was young, and she got turned into semi-robot, semi-human. So there was a part in the show where she was about to fail, like a droid, get shut down, and Wim had to help her by melting down some metal and adding a piece in there. I don't really know all the terms, but that was kind of cool how he ended up fixing her, and she was just a really fun character. She was Fern's best friend. So I'll talk about Fern next. I really like this actress. I thought she did a really good job. She really reminds me of Haley Steinfeld, which is kind of interesting. But she just did a really good job, the actress. She's Fern as a character. She became the captain of the ship. And she was just a very leader type character. Kind of reminded me of Han Solo in a way as well from Star Wars. So I thought she was really fun. She did a lot of playful back and forth with Jod, obviously, because she's a leader type character. So that was kind of fun to watch her character evolve throughout the show. So I'm interested to see how that character evolves in the future, if they do a season 2 or another show with these characters in them. Another character I'll talk about is Neil. He was an elephant type character, alien. But he's Wim's best friend, and he was the comic relief of the show. He was just really fun to watch, and he's a sidekick to Wim, and almost thinking of the guy in the chair. He was the best friend in the chair that would just help out. Didn't really have any physical abilities, but he could figure out some tight situations. Very smart character. Another character that they teased throughout the show was the supervisor, who was the leader of Ad-Adden, and In the last episode, it really reminded me of Wizard of Oz. They were going to see the wizard, going to see the supervisor, and he ended up just being a droid and not really that big of a character at all. So Jod ends up killing the big droid supervisor character. So I thought that was kind of interesting how that, to me, related to Wizard of Oz. Another thing I'm going to talk about is Adden, the planet. So it's a very mysterious planet. It's a hidden planet. It's got a lot of treasure on it. The pirates know about Adden from legends from hundreds of years ago, and no one knows where it is. No one knows how to get there. When they finally do get back to Adden, it's got a big force field around it where no one can enter. You can try and enter, but then you just end up getting, your shuttle ends up getting destroyed, or your aircraft ends up getting destroyed by the lightning. So I thought that was really interesting. And when they finally get through the force field of it, you can see how beautiful the planet is. It's just like a utopia and all this hidden treasure on it. So that was kind of cool. Once the pirates got there, obviously pirates are money hungry and really just want treasure. So that was kind of cool. Another character we'll talk about is SM-33. He was the droid in it. He was like the father figure for the kids, and he respected the pirate code. So anything that came up about who's going to be the new captain, it was always going back and forth between Jod and Fern of who's the captain. At one point towards the end, Jod becomes the captain of the main pirate ship, and that means that their ship is free to be claimed, and Fern ends up claiming the ship. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And he was a fighter too. He would beat up anyone that would mess with the captain or any of the kids. So I thought that was kind of cool. He ends up getting his head cut off by Jod, and you thought that was the end of it, but he just picks up his head and continues on. So I thought that was kind of cool. Overall, the show, I would give it probably an 8 out of 10. I really did enjoy it week to week watching it. It was really fun. Again, the music was really good. It felt really Star Warsy to me overall. So I had a great time watching it. Definitely would be fun to watch it in the future with my kids. So that would be kind of cool to do. And like I said, I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Let me know in the comment section what you thought about Skeleton Crew. Leave a subscribe, and have a great day, everyone. Bye.
Chickadee China, the Chinese chicken. You have a drumstick and your brain stops sticking.